That was stupid. We're back with our life. Yay. You guys know I like to have my little drink when I make my videos. Today I have Lollipop. This is the other flavor I really like. Crisp apple. Absolutely genius. Yes, let's continue. I forget which one I chose. I think I chose Long Day because we were just at the beach. So I'm pretty sure that's what we're playing. We'll find out. It was Long Day or Sandcastles. I was between the two. So Cove wasn't able to do many things that summer. When you, him, and Shiloh sat out on the shoreline one bright morning, you could tell he wanted to be in the water. Oh, because he can't because of his cast. But there was no way he'd be swimming anytime soon, not with his cast. I want to get the story of why he has a cast on. Are we going to find out this episode, please? The waves washed a single shell ashore, glittering and blue, another reminder of the places he couldn't go. From what you'd heard about Cove's old life so far, in tiny pieces and fragments, you could tell he'd do anything to be able to get the cast off. Like make a pact with a witch or something, just to get it off his arm. You thought about how this summer, or his summer last year, must have been totally different from this, with his old home and his mom and dad. But now he was here, with you and Shiloh and Lizzie and everyone else, and he couldn't even go in the sea. This town wasn't bad, it had all your favorite things in it. But sitting there, on the same beach you'd grown up on, you could understand that not everybody else felt the same way about Sunset Bird as you did. Have I mentioned that I love the art style of this game? It is so freaking cute. Just to the artist of this game. You watched him from the corner of your eye quietly, and he finally said aloud what you had been pondering. I wish I could go in.
The water?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're gonna be able to do it soon.
Cove only sighed in response. Apparently soon wasn't soon enough.
It's so pretty, the ocean.
Mm-hmm. And huge. There could be anything out there. Like mermaids. Love the imagination, Cove. He doesn't strike me as someone who's very imaginative. I'm surprised, but pleasantly. Yeah, I'll let let him handle that line. Good job. I wish you didn't have a cast. I don't really care. Oh my god. You could be in this game, by the way. I know sometimes I choose kind of response, but you really can be a major butt. Swimming might be fun if we could. I'm fine here on land. Mermaids aren't real. Shut up! Who told you that? They're liars! It must be the government! You didn't have a cast. He obviously also already wishes. I don't want to bum him out more. I kind of want to comfort him a little bit. Like, I'm fine here. It's fine. I'm fine here on land. All right. Obviously not interested in hearing much more of your input on the situation, Cove turned back into the water. As he looked away, something about Shiloh's slow, careful movements caught his eye. Hey, are you... I chose sandcastles, so we answered that question. You building a sandcastle?
Sort of. I was only playing around while you were talking. I'm listening.
Like a villager. Maybe I could too. I've only made big piles before.
It's really nothing special. I'm sure you'll be good at it right away.
Well, how do you do it then? Shiloh's cheeks lit up. You could tell he was a little bit uncomfortable to have Cove's expectant stare on him. Oh my god. Shiloh, take advantage of this opportunity! You finally have Cove showing any interest in you as a human being.
I'll play too.
I love making sand stuff. I've never really made one before. There's nothing else to do. I love making sand stuff. That is not true. I'm just being nice.
Okay.
Yeah. He put his hands back to his seashells in sand and nodded.
I don't do a lot. Here's how I like to get a house started.
Shiloh, focusing more intently than you'd ever seen him, guided Cove through his process. You happily used your own method. Not good enough, Shiloh. Donut!
You donut. Of course you don't.
It didn't take long for the three of you to each have humble structures prepared. Shiloh, you're so close.
That's all, kind of. You could do anything now. Like make it bigger, add some seashells, carve a pretty pattern. I bet you'll have great ideas.
I'm gonna make it bigger. Mine is gonna be a real castle. Why are they so close? Can we be this close making individual sandcastles? I have my own method.
Cool, this is gonna be a house.
Looking at the base of your sandcastle, you decided to make, ooh, I get to pick! A house, a castle, a mansion. I'm gonna just step it up from here! Nah, I'm gonna do a castle. Oh. They're called sandcastles. Why do you hate them so much? Looking at the base of your sandcastle, you decided to build a fancy castle. The better part of the next hour was spent focusing on your own work. The boys were the same. Even Shiloh didn't sneak as many peeks as everyone else's as he usually did. You finished shaping before either of them did, glancing up from what you'd built. It seems you got done so fast because they already searched around for extra decorations. Shiloh had grabbed most of the really interesting stuff, and Cove had a lot of the shells, but there were still options. The first thing you reached for was a red bottle cap, blue seashell, green piece of sea glass. I'm nervous about the sea glass. I know it's not real glass. I know it's like the Is it real glass? I don't know. I know it's like not really sharp glass. It's those little rocks, but I'm gonna grab the blue seashell. It was the best fit for your castle, you decided. The blue color of it still reminded you of the clear water. You put it in a funny place where it'd take a second look to see it. Pleased with your result, you finally took a proper look around what wasn't focused on the sand itself. Both Cove and Shiloh seemed super immersed still. You knew you could probably sneak a peek at either one's work. You checked out Cove's sandcastle, you checked out Shiloh's sandhouse, you decided not to look. Nah, morals are for the weak. The castle Cove had built looked surprisingly tidy, especially for someone in a cast. He must have worked really hard. He strikes me as a little tidy man. He's very type A, Cove is. And that's why I'm intrigued in him and his character, but he's gotta like ease up this much. Wasn't even finished digging the huge gaping moat in front, but it was already enormous. You got the sense from the enthusiasm he was digging with that the doctor was probably going to find a bunch of sand when he finally removed the pink plaster. The silence was then broken. What's on top of yours, Shiloh? You peeked closer and discovered something shiny sticking out of Shiloh's sand chimney.
Oh, it's just a gum wrapper. It looks like smoke.
Neat.
It's good. That's smart. Oh my god. They're friends! Yeah, I didn't think of that. I guess I don't see it. Oh my god, could you chill out? You should be an architect. Kinda looks more like a worm. You should be an architect.
You'd be good at it, Shiloh.
Shiloh smiled without a word. And that was that for the current topic. Jay, can I see what you did? Sure. He began surveying your work. The castle you'd built was pretty impressive, all things considered. It had archways, tall walls, and even a little moat circling it. You would probably feel safe living there. Maybe your moms were the queens. Aw. Shiloh quickly decided to jump in the new conversation.
Hey, Jay, what did you do? This is my castle.
Shiloh didn't look so happy anymore. Did jealousy get in the way?
You both built castles?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly as he said it. Say hi to the camera. I know. You want to cuddle with me. You want to cuddle? La 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 la. No, don't sniff my Olipop. No. Oh, okay. Bye, fart.
Aw. Aw. That's neat. How you guys match? It's too bad we didn't all do it. Next time we should.
Wouldn't that be boring? If something is the only one of that thing, that makes it special.
Yeah, for sandcastles and stuff.
People too. My dad always say how everybody is their own man, a real individual.
I don't think I'm very special.
No! Yes! I just scared. I scared Toffee so bad. You okay? So sorry. You're very special, Shiloh. You are literally the cutest little baby in the world. Why not? Nobody else is you. Shiloh simply shook his head.
I'm not different.
A beat passed between the two. Cove then looked at his own work again. What the What the was that? You bit me. Okay. He didn't seem to be bothered leaving the disagreement hanging there. Cove had other things on his mind. My dad tried to get me to make sandcastles the first time we came to this beach. I didn't want to. Cove trailed off. Again, there was another moment of silence. Shiloh shifted and opened his mouth to say something, but Cove spoke up before he could. You didn't think he noticed that Shiloh was going to talk. Hey, do you know what happened when your moms met my dad, Jay? You waited to see if Shiloh would say what he wanted to. When he didn't, you considered Cove's question.
I wasn't there. They didn't tell me. I just remember what happened when I met your dad.
I bolted! Mr. Holden had been such a weird stranger then. Well, he was still kind of strange. No other parent acted like him, but you knew him better at this point. Now that you thought about it, it made a lot of sense that Cove's dad talked to him about people being unique. You were pulled from your thoughts when Cove continued. Oh, well, I was there.
I don't think my mom has met your dad.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she hasn't. Jay's parents and my dad met the same day I met her. I'm gonna say what happened. Shiloh frowned to himself, ducking his head. His hat cast a shadow over his face. You could still tell he was upset at not being included in Cove's choice of topic. It's kind of boring for him, though giving people their own turn to say the things they wanted to is important too. You stayed silent and let Cove finish his story. I think Shiloh wants to talk to you. No, I want to hear the story. Shiloh could talk about stuff later, after Code had a chance to share what he planned on. When we moved here, we didn't bring a lot of things with us. Only some stuff that would fit in my dad's car. We didn't even get a moving truck. I sat in there while Dad brought it all inside. Oh my god. I didn't want to get out because I knew Dad would make me look around the new house. I really didn't want to do that. Lips twisted into a frown as he recalled that. Then I saw your moms. They were in a car too and stopped at your house. I guess they were coming back from somewhere or something. My dad noticed. He waved his hand and then went over to the front of your house where we started talking to him. I don't know what they said. I couldn't hear it. But he couldn't see me anymore since I was looking the other way. So I opened the car door and I left. I wanted to get away and went behind the houses. I found those hills there, the ones where we met for the first time. My hills, if you recall.
So, is this your hill? Yes. Yes, it is. Get off. You can leave if it is.
Yep! Cove nodded, then stared at you. You stared back. He didn't go on to say anything more.
Are you gonna finish your story?
Cove's brow wrinkled, like he didn't understand why you were surprised. That's all that happened. Okay. Why did you want to tell the story if nothing happened? You really got to get better at telling stories. That was a pretty bad story. Thanks for telling me. I personally want to just say, okay. I'm going to say, thanks for telling me. You're welcome. So... Even if not much happened, you weren't going to complain about knowing the story. Shiloh's mouth twisted into a scowl of disbelief, but he said nothing.
Why'd you bring that up anyway?
There was a slight shrug of Cove's shoulders. I was thinking about it because of the sandcastles. It made me remember when I moved here. Dad showed me the beach first, before we went back to the car to unpack. He was really excited about it for some reason. Cove's brows furrowed a little more as he quietly raked his hands through the sand.
I get it.
You thought maybe Mr. Holden wasn't that excited about the beach, and was instead hoping Cove might be. I'm a genius. But the line of conversation had come to its end. Even Cove was done with it. Some other topic had popped into his head. Shiloh fidgeting uncomfortably in the sand had made Cove aware of his presence again. They looked at each other, and you could only wonder what this might be about. Hey, Shiloh.
Yeah?
Why are you always turning so red, even when nothing is happening? Clearly startled, he jerked back. Neither you or Shiloh had expected that to be how he got included in the conversation again.
I don't know, I guess.
Okay, it's kind of weird. What? Shiloh's eyes were wide with embarrassment. And his lips twitched, and he was blushing even harder than before. Maybe it wasn't only this, perhaps it was simply the last straw, but it was a big deal to Shiloh, a huge deal. He didn't look sad, he seemed almost panicked. You weren't sure if he was about to cry or run away or what, but you soon got an answer.
Why do you wear glasses? Most kids don't wear glasses, and nobody is named Cove.
Who asked you to come?
Whew. Okay, the heat is coming.
Who asked you to come? It was probably just your dad bugging Jay's family some more because you don't have anyone else who will ever play with you.
Oh, the drama is here. Cove blinked. Just like that. The tension on the beach was suddenly uncomfortable in a way you didn't know how to laugh off. It didn't seem like the kind of thing he'd been upset about, though you hadn't ever known what kind of thing would bother Shiloh.
I'm sorry.
Me too. I was just wondering. Let's build another sandcastle. You tried to play on your own. Are we going to build more? You nervously messed with the sand. I know this is going to decrease the tension. I'm not always a fan of people just distracting from tension. I don't want to just play on my own because then I'm just leaving. Are we going to build more? Again, this is trying to I'm just going to nervously mess with the sand. I think they have something they need to say with each other, and I don't feel like necessarily being the one that interrupts that. So hopefully this encourages them to talk with each other and not just let it fizzle out. You picked up some sand and turned it over in your hands. There didn't seem to be much you could do to stop the fight, and you weren't sure what to do with yourself. Cove looked over at what you were doing and started building his own set of walls. Shiloh took a deep breath before kneeling back down to his own patch of sand. It seemed like they both decided to try playing again. You were glad for that. Okay, so they let it fizzle out anyway. It's kids. You all went back to making more sand buildings, but the mood had changed. Shiloh's cheeriness was clearly gone, and Cove looked as confused as ever about why the other boy had blown up. Cove, it's 'cause you were rude. Why question his red cheeks? What were they doing to you? The air stayed uncomfortable the rest of the afternoon, right up to the moment that Shiloh's mom appeared at the beach to take him home. Even Shiloh had mostly followed your lead and barely said a word. His mom standing behind him, even Shiloh's goodbye had been quiet. Friendly, cheerful, but noticeably quiet. But with Shiloh gone and the sun going down, you knew it was time for Cove to head to your own house. For you and Cove to head to your own houses. We don't have a house together, silly lady. The two of you trailed out to the park together toward the neighborhood. The walk home was quiet. You passed by familiar landmarks, shoes thumping against the sidewalk in near perfect unison. Are you going to talk to me, please? Please don't end the chapter without us talking. Cove was clearly caught up thinking about something. You asked Cove what he's thinking, you stayed silent. You asked Cove what he's thinking. Something was definitely up, so you chose to reach out to him and ask.
Hey, Cove? Is everything okay? You're making a funny face.
Oh, I was just wondering. Cove fell silent again for a few more seconds, then sighed. Why did Shiloh act like that? When I said he was all red a lot? We're being rude to him, he's just being a baby. You shouldn't make fun of him. I don't know, it's just Shiloh. He gets embarrassed. You shrugged at Cove with no answer to give. You're being rude to him. No, I wasn't.
It looked like that to me, and it wasn't just saying that one thing. You're not very nice to Shiloh.
I didn't mean it like that. Shiloh is kind of weird to talk to.
See? That's kind of rude.
I guess I can get it. Why he would do that. Sometimes I get really mad too. Despite seemingly coming to a conclusion, Cove's mood was still sour. What Shiloh said didn't make sense anyway. Parents always talk to other parents and set up stuff so their kids play together. My dad didn't do anything weird. He struggled not to make a face at that. His dad definitely did something weird to try and get you to spend time with Cove. Yes, our stupid dollar offer. But Cove didn't know that. Nobody's making me spend time with you. Your dad does do stuff so you'll hang out with my family, but Shiloh shouldn't have said that. You decided to tell him about how his dad offered you money. No, nobody's making me spend time with you. Except the game. Cove's shoulders relaxed. You hadn't even noticed that he had tensed up. Yeah, that's what I thought too. I knew the whole time Shiloh shouldn't have been saying things like that. You nodded, but you didn't speak. You kept your eyes firmly on the ground. By now, the two of you were on the sidewalk near your houses. It was time to part ways.
Bye, Cove.
Your parents hadn't planned anything else for you, though you knew that you'd see him eventually. Cove nodded, already turning away. Bye, Jay. You made your way to the front of the house at a leisurely pace, going up your driveway to get to the front door. Before you went inside, you looked back. Cove was halfway to his house, his hands shoved into his pockets. You still felt a little unsure with what you were supposed to do about the deal Cove's dad had offered. You didn't want to say anything bad or something you shouldn't. You might change your mind sometime. There was always tomorrow after all, but for now it was definitely something that you'd keep to yourself. With a final look, you went inside your house. All right. That was an interesting chapter. I kind of wish that we got more conclusion or something with Shiloh and Cove. I'm hoping that we're going to get that at some point. But these chapters, you don't have to play all of them, so it'd be weird if this chapter's stuff continued here. I don't know. I'm hoping that, I was just thinking during this episode, when you say, and then summer ended, I'm wondering if you're still going to get some sort of chapter or like mini section of them being kids that transitions to the next section, because I mean, imagine if you don't play any of these. Imagine if you immediately decide to end the summer. There has to be something more with them being children, right? No, that's just my thought. But for the next episode, I'm going to do Long Day, and then we're going to have grown-ups. So we only have 2 mini sections here left, and then I'm going to see what happens when summer ended. I'll see you in the next one.
Bye!